I know you're trying to change, but no matter what you do, you keep landing back in the same loop. Who you are still depends on what other people think of you. You may second guess your own feelings. You stay in relationships long after they've stopped working. And underneath all of it, your family may just feel difficult to deal with. You're still trying to decide what you want in your life, but it's hard to sort out. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean it's too late. It means something got set in you a long time ago and no one ever turned it off. In this video, I'll show you what that is and how you take your life back even at 40, 50, or 60 years old or older. I remember in a marriage and family graduate course, there was a 78-year-old woman in there studying marriage and family therapy. She was quite an inspiration. She wanted to learn all she could learn about family dynamics. I'm Jerry Wise. For over 45 years, I've helped people become their true self, and I've watched people do it long after they originally decided the window had already closed. Their age was never the thing standing in the way. What stood in the way was a self they had been trained to be back in their family of origin's home. When that finally comes off, what's underneath is clarity, peace, and a lasting freedom. What nobody explained to you is not every family runs on the same rules, and the kind you grew up in decided how much of yourself you were allowed to develop. In some homes, some get to be their own person. They could disagree without the relationship breaking. They had permission to say what they needed and have it respected. When something went wrong, it got repaired. That's the home most advice online and in books is written for. If that was your family, you may have less need for what I want to share today. In other homes, love and reactivity got mixed together. On calm days, you were maybe more allowed to be yourself. The moment stress rose, that room closed. Picture a dinner from back then. Everybody's fine, people are laughing, and then one comment lands wrong, or a family member becomes upset, and you feel the whole room tighten before anyone says a word. You got quiet. You read the faces. You waited to find out which version of the evening you were going to get. That kind of home leaves a quieter kind of damage. No bruises you can point to, just a feeling that settled in early, that your own thoughts were never quite important enough to say out loud. And then there's the home most of you grew up in, I believe. Maybe a narcissistic family. Here, being your own person wasn't just discouraged or uncomfortable for other people. It got punished. Every time you let someone close, it got used against you later. So your system learned one setting and never let go. Guard everything, trust no one, read the room before you walk into it, and when you're not sure, disappear. At the time, that setting is the reason you made it through. No one ever came back and turned it off. That's the problem. And we didn't come back and turn it off. And I believe it's possible to turn that off and to learn to turn it off. Here's what that setting costs you by 40, 50, or 60 years old. Every bit of energy goes into watching other people, keeping them steady, managing their moods. You also spend lots of your energy trying to stay calm and not be upset yourself. You wake up tired and you go to bed tired, and you can't point to a single hour of the day that was actually yours. And while you were holding it all together for everyone else, the years you were supposed to be living your own life quickly went by. That's the part that actually hurts. I know that feeling personally. I crashed my own life at about age 38, maybe 39. I'd spent most of it running on a setting that wasn't mine, without ever knowing it was there. The lessons I learned were not simply academic. I did study books, I did take classes, but I found my way to understanding life and healing in a different way. Nothing I teach is simply theory. Though there is some theory, but it's not simply theory. It has been born out of my own experience. And I'm not against theory, and theory can be helpful, but it must produce results. And it shows up painfully with the people who may be in a safer situation now. The friend who means well, the partner who's steady, the people who might even love the real you. If you ever let them see it, but you don't, you keep reading them instead. You hand them a version of you that's easy to be around and keep the real one out of reach. you end up surrounded by people who care about you, possibly, and you still may feel completely alone because the protection that once kept you safe is the same thing keeping everyone at arm's length. This is why you tolerate what other people would have walked away from years ago. Say you grew up with a parent whose mood decided the whole house. You learned it early. If I keep them calm, then I'm safe. Fast forward 30 years, and now it's your partner's mood running your entire day. The second they are stressed, you're 7 years old again, back at the same job. It's why you've done the therapy, read the books, set the boundaries, and still hit the same wall in a new relationship, a new job, a new year. You've worked harder than anyone around you knows. All of that effort went into the symptoms, while the dynamics underneath them never changed. And my work, I like to address the dynamics underneath the symptoms, the problems. What's running underneath is the self your family needed you to be, assembled out of their fears and their rules long before you could choose any of it. It decides, without ever asking you, how much room you're allowed to take up, how much you're allowed to want, how much good you're allowed to keep before you quietly sabotage it. That self has a name. It's the false self, the pseudo-self, the person you were trained to be instead of the person you actually are. What looks like a personality trait may in fact actually be inherited software, and software can be rewritten at any stage and any age. So getting your life back has nothing to do with trying harder to trust people, or forcing yourself to open up, or willing yourself to feeling normal. That's the advice for those who grew up in a very safe and maybe healthy home. It's why it has failed you every time you've reached for it. Getting your life back means turning the setting back to where you actually are today, with the people who are safe. That means practicing being known instead of useful, saying the true thing, letting them see you a little at a time, reducing the family Wi-Fi triggers programmed into you, reducing the fears and blocks to healthy closeness. I call it reducing our intimacy allergy. We are not born often with that intimacy allergy. That is taught and programmed within us. Here's what that looks like in a single moment. A friend asks you how you're doing. The old setting hands them the easy answer, "Oh, I'm good, just busy," and moves the attention back onto them. Instead, if you say, "Well, honestly, this week it's been hard," and then you don't manage their reactions for them, you let it sit there. That's it. That's one rep or repetition that you may learn. Now, I realize not everyone who asks you, "How are you doing?" you need to give them an encyclopedia of all of your feelings and thoughts. I'm talking about beginning to open up and have that crack begin to open, and taking responsibility for your feelings and not putting it on them, and that you don't take responsibility for what they may think about that. For example, they may say, "Oh, well, how can I help you? Is there something I can do? Did you need to talk about that?" And I go, "No, not really. I was just sharing with you how the week was going. I'm sure I'll be able to manage it. But thank you very much for the support." With the people who aren't safe, protection is what helps. Less explaining and less of yourself left exposed. More openness was never going to reach them in an unsafe relationship. That's the one skill a narcissistic family never let you build, because there was only ever one setting for everyone. Learning to read who actually is in front of you instead of who was in front of you then is what self-differentiation trains you to do. It clears out what's already been running in you, in your nervous system, in your relationships, in your sense of who you are. The thing that kept you stuck was never your age, not the years behind you, not the amount of damage, not being too far gone. It was a setting put into place before you had any say in it. At 40, at 50, at 60, at any age, you're not rebuilding a person from nothing. You're uncovering the one who has been there the whole time, underneath the one your family needed. And that work can start today, exactly as easily as it could have started 20 years ago. I know that for my own life. And many times I read people who make comments and say, "I wish I'd have heard this 20 years ago." You don't have to overhaul your life this week. The first step is smaller than that. It's learning to catch the setting the moment it fires, to notice that you just handed someone easy version of you again. Learning to see it happen is where everything starts. Let me share some self-differentiation tips. Here are 3 things that will help you at any age to begin to heal and find your true self. First, you could read the book by Roberta Gilbert, read books by Harriet Lerner, read books by Jenny Brown. Become more familiar with systems thinking and understanding the context of your stuckness. I have many videos describing these dynamics. Those videos are all free. They're on YouTube. Secondly, focus on you, not on others as the target of your change. Stop trying to change others. Use this energy to know and change and love yourself. It was very powerful for me to learn I cannot change them. I don't have to change them. I can change me. And how am I going to feel about me? Thirdly, stop taking responsibility for others' emotions, reactions, actions, responses, or upsetness. Take responsibility for your feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and actions. I did an interview with Dr. Margaret Paul, and it's one of my YouTube videos, and she's the author of the book Inner Bonding. And it really does emphasize the importance of not caretaking and not being responsible for other people's feelings and reactions. That's so critical for undoing the family within us. If you've spent years believing that window of yours has already closed, in terms of healing, this is where it can open back up again. Learning to turn that setting back to today, at 40, at 50, at 60, or at any age. This is exactly what the Road to Self program was built to walk you through. Step by step, inside, you start living with clarity, peace, and a grounded connection to your true self. If you're not sure the Road to Self program is for you, then just start with my free 84-minute self-differentiation training. Over 50,000 people have taken it as their first step, and it's the same place and point that you can begin catching that setting and resetting things. Click the links in the description to get started, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day, and be wise.